This is Chemistry 1045 Laboratory, Experiment number 9, Acid and Base Titration, Part 1. In order to properly do this experiment, you will need a number of different materials. These materials are potassium hydrogen phthalate, a scale, weighing paper, an Erlenmeyer flask, deionized water, some pipettes, sodium hydroxide, a 1,000 milliliter beaker, a ring stand with Buret clamps, a glass funnel that is stemmed, a Buret, and phenolphthalein. In order to begin the experiment, you will need to measure at approximately 0.3 grams of KHP. You will transfer this amount into a 250 milliliter Erlenmeyer flask and then add 50 milliliters of deionized water using pipettes. After this, you will measure out 2 grams of sodium hydroxide in a weighing boat, then transfer it into a 1,000 milliliter beaker and add distilled water for a total volume of 500 milliliters. This will give you approximately 0.1 m sodium hydroxide. After this, you'll prepare the Buret by putting it into a clamp on a ring stand, and then using a stemmed glass funnel, you will pour a few milliliters of the sodium hydroxide into the Buret to rinse it. Then you will carefully fill the Buret with fresh sodium hydroxide, being certain not to overfill it. After this, you will add 2 to 3 drops of the phenolphthalein indicator into the Erlenmeyer flask, swirl the contents, and then start adding the sodium hydroxide until the color changes. Once the indicator has reached its final color, you are done with the titration.